And we're live and on the air.
Here we go. It's a
Trying
different sleep, different vibes, different format, different entry.
trying something new tonight.
How's it
We're
going
gonna.
so far?
It's going good. Well, no, it's now. It's still like the old show because we're still not doing what we said we do.
Oh,
We're going to
okay.
tell you
So,
about the movie. We're going to talk about Peggy Sue Got Married.
who directed it?
Who directed it? A fellow named Francis Ford Coppola, who directed a couple of other movies.
Yeah, you might have heard of him. This movie came out in 1986.
Yes, and it starred Kathleen Turner and Nicolas Cage.
Mm-hmm.
And a whole bunch of other people: Barry Miller, Catherine Hicks, Joan Allen, Kevin J. O'Connor, and a guy named Jim Carrey, who went on to do some other things.
I heard of him.
But,
I think. Yeah, he did.
yeah.
He was in Mask, that Peter Bogdanovich movie, wasn't he?
Yes. Yeah. Yeah.
So anyway, Peggy Sue Got Married from 1986.
And what's it about?
Well, it's a time travel movie, kind of, right? It's like it's about a woman who goes to her high school reunion and then faints and wakes up out of a fainting spell in 1960 when she
And
was
has
in high school.
Yeah, and has a chance maybe to put some things right that went wrong.
Does she do it? Does she not? We'll get to the bottom of it.
Suspense is killing me. So that's what we're going to talk about after our incredible title sequence. And
Right.
after we talk about some of the normal silliness that we go into.
Let's
We'll
do it.
see you in a moment.
Talking about cocktails that are stylish, movies great or phony, and how Tony should win a Matthew, and Matthew should win a Tony. But in the meantime, talking about film in the meantime. The Arkin brothers talk about movies.
And the ladies, IDA, yo!
Oh, the humiliation of that clip is going to continue for a long time.
Well, you say stuff here on the YouTube and it stays there forever.
Yes, it does. How are you? It's so good to see you.
You too. It's great to see you. I feel like that new intro that we did was fairly okay, considering we just winged it. We had no idea what we were doing.
We did wing it. Maybe we'll get better at it. Maybe we won't.
I hope not. I hope we don't. I hope we keep it really rough hewn.
Okay.
And organic.
How's your week?
We've been good. Teaching a lot, 2 classes at this point a week. That won't happen for long. Classes are going well. This is my second podcast record today. I recorded my other podcast, Rated P for Paranormal, earlier today, so I'm a little bit like disjointed. I don't know what movie we're going to talk about. You have to keep reframing it for me because we covered Carrie this week on a Rated P for Paranormal, which is the perfect companion piece to this movie in a lot of ways. So I'm a little confused as to which one I'm actually thinking about at any given moment.
I think we should critique this as if it's a mashup with Carrie. I think we should just go back and forth between the two.
Well, it is my, double feature.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's pretty good. Yeah, that's very good. I like that. So 2 classes. Anything else good this week?
No, that's enough. That's already enough. I'm exhausted just saying it. Pardon me for there's noise in the background. We have the windows open now because it's getting warmer, and our street has become a drag strip.
Hot time in the city.
Yeah, for real.
I get it.
What's with you? What's happening? You had a trip. You went on a trip.
Went on a trip. Went up to San Francisco to meet with some bar owners and influencers and talk about booze and pitch our booze to people. And we had a big party with about 25 people where it just went over like gangbusters. People were crazy about it. But then on the way back, with Mark and Bruce, my partners, we had to stop in a town called Arroyo Grande, and spend the night was basically like an Italian villa in wine country up on top of a hill.
Oh dear.
With this family that own a distillery there, the Rosinski family.
Oh, this sounds like it could have been a very difficult time. I hope you had a good time.
Terrible. the father Anatoly, the mother Louise, the kids Alexis and Sophia. I have to tell you about. Oh, wait a minute! You know them. They're our producers.
You're rubbing it in again. Last week you had dinner. That was an incredible dinner with everybody, and now you're going on vacations and hanging out.
Yeah, hung out and spent the night basically making cocktails with their booze and our booze, and a beautiful. I think it was like let's ask the girls to come on and remind me, how many courses was that meal? It was endless.
I think that it was a 3-meal course. We had salmon and vegetables and
homemade
cavatelli.
pasta, homemade cavatelli, homemade wine, not homemade wine, but wine made by your father.
Oh, seriously?
Seriously, wine, just insanely good wine, and some wine glasses that I want to get. He brought out these wine glasses that they each hold actually a bottle of wine. It's a wine glass that you can just pour an entire bottle of wine into. So you can say, no, I just had one drink last night.
You're having a much more exciting springtime than I am.
Well, when you get out here, you're going to be up there. I've been told they have many extra bedrooms where we can crash and eat and drink and snore. And they have a great big screen they put up in the living room. You can watch movies.
Well,
it
might be a good place to, convene and plan a season's worth of material at some point.
Yes. And do the show from there one time.
I have seen the same 5 blocks of Brooklyn for 2 years. That sounds pretty good right now.
Yeah, it was pretty amazing. And you may notice, I don't know if you noticed my drink tonight. I'm trying this new thing. Have you had this?
Vodka is very popular. Many people drink vodka.
This is plain old water.
Oh, what the hell? I'm probably dead anyway.
I've never seen you drink water before. Do you feel okay?
It's frightening.
Are you okay?
No. You know what W.C. Fields said about it?
Yes.
I don't think I could say it on the air, but go Google it.
I didn't know you could say that on the air when
So
seriously, you're feeling okay? That's a glass of water. I've never seen it before.
I'm just recovering. I'm just recovering from several nights of bars where we had to meet with at a bar up in San Diego on Monday night with a fellow named Johnny Love, who owns the Blue Light.
And when Johnny gives you a cocktail, you drink it.
You drink Johnny Love's cocktails, and then he was drinking our stuff, and he loved it. And then we had to go to another place and meet with sales reps. And of course, we had to sample all of this, have him sample all of our stuff, and we couldn't let him drink alone. And then Tuesday night, we had this big party with 25 people who were interested in helping us launch in San Francisco and getting the word out. And then last night with Alexis and Sophia and her parents. And so I'm doing the show, and then
let's face it, you're not 55 anymore.
Oh, wow. Yeah, no, I'm not even 61 anymore.
Yeah, stop.
So, yeah, it's you're
doing better than I.
Teenagers are weird, and you're the weirdest.
I can't keep up with that at all. You're doing better than I would be doing.
There we go. So yeah. So I would like to keep. Well, actually, it's not true. I was going to say I'd like to keep talking about other stuff rather than talk about this movie, but that's actually not true, because this movie to me was such a strange and wild ride.
Did you see it when it came out?
I had never seen it, and somebody asked us a question when we came in with our booze, which is a fairly new kind of thing. And at one point, a bartender tasted it and said, "This is very good, but I have an important question for you. Why does it exist?" And that's what I want to know about this movie. Why does it exist? But before you
Yeah.
answer that question, my partner Mark says that Matthew and Alexis are underselling how spectacular the evening was. Thank you, Rosinski family. And he's right. It could not be oversold. But yeah, why?
I'm a little worried about the side effects.
There, that's how I feel.
Well, you're holding it together.
Yeah,
You
well,
look good.
oh, thanks. Why? So why does this movie exist?
Why does it exist?
Yeah.
I think it's a weird hybrid thing. Like it, you know, I feel like the people that wrote it set out to write a very different vibe of a movie. Like that, it was a very different movie in a way than they had in their minds or something. Much more kind of commercial, you know, high concept, and then mixing that with Coppola's, you know, Bay Area filmmaker attitude and his unique kind of thing. It was a strange hybrid of very Hollywood idea, kind of done by a creative maverick who doesn't really want to maybe make movies like that. I don't know. I guess he did want to make it. He could have probably made any movie he wanted to, but that was my take on it anyway. I kind of agree with you. I can't really answer that question because I don't know the answer. It's almost like the best thing I could say would be like it exists because some adults felt pandered to by you know, Back to the Future.
Okay.
They did a slightly more, they did a boomer version of Back to the Future, which was a pretty boomer anyway, I guess, because it was all 50s stuff, nostalgia for 50s.
Right.
I think you're forgetting an important question here, or important part of this. You remember how big the 50s resurgence was in the mid 80s?
Oh yeah.
So
Grease.
Well, Grease was the movie, yeah.
Yeah.
By mid 80s, the 50s was it was huge. So this movie just fit right in, but I don't think anybody, it's hard to contextualize now.
Yeah. But so I get that. I get, okay, let's set it in the 50s and let's make that the playground because people are interested in that. But I feel like this movie needed an adult to sit it down and say, yeah, all this screwing around you're doing is great, but someday you're going to have to figure out what you want to be when you grow up. Like did it want, yeah, did it, like there was a part that made me think it not It's a Wonderful Life, but you know, can she go back in time and fix some of the stuff? I feel like nobody learns anything. Her big epiphany seems to be like, I'm married to a jerk who cheated on me, and I guess that's what I have to settle for because I can't change it. I mean, does he? Nothing happens to him in the movie that changes him, other than she faints.
You're not going to get an argument from me on that.
I'm very happy, Peggy.
I think there's like 3 different movies getting made here, or more. I feel like the screenwriters had one vibe and tone in mind, and then Coppola had another, and then Kathleen Turner wasn't the first choice for this. Maybe that was like yet another layer that took it in another direction. And then you got Nick Cage, who was in a completely different movie. You know,
well, he was prescient in that he saw how popular SpongeBob SquarePants would be.
Not many people were that on top of things.
I mean, that voice,
based on Pokey, apparently, from the Gumby animated Gumby show.
Yeah,
which I don't really hear. I mean, I guess a little bit, yeah. The story behind that voice is pretty incredible. I mean, everybody hated it. The amazing thing was, when I first started reading into this, I heard Kathleen Turner interviewed, and she's, you know, was talking about how much she hated the voice that he used because it's this incredibly, I'm sure we have a clip of it.
I wonder why I love you like I do.
Yeah, and that's just, is there a speaking clip where he's like, we just hear him talking? Because he actually sings better than
Very happy, Peggy.
I'm very happy, Peggy.
And it's like a real crazy voice. He commits to it completely, except it does kind of come in and out a little bit. I've noticed, but
Yeah.
Very happy, Peggy.
in a way, I kind of wish I had seen the movie that Nick Cage was making.
Yeah, especially if he'd been allowed to to turn it into the wife murdering movie that he apparently wanted to turn it into.
Make her love me, okay? Feed me, charge me.
Did he want to turn this into a movie where he murders his wife?
Well, where he
Let's go down to the basement.
Yeah.
what is going on? He breaks into her house in the middle of the night because he hears that she took a motorcycle ride with the Jack Kerouac wannabe in town. The James Dean rebel without a cause, Jack Kerouac.
Passion. Fire.
Yeah, that guy. And he hears that, so he climbs into her house with Dracula Frankenstein hands as he's walking up to the house. And then he picks up a pillow and holds it as if he's going to smother. I thought, what weird turn is this movie taking? And then he doesn't. And it's not that she wakes up and sees him and says, what are you doing? He just doesn't smother her with a pillow. And then she wakes up and he says, let's go down to the basement, Peggy. And you're like, is he going to murder her in the basement? I mean,
Yeah.
And then they just have a talk.
It's true.
They have a talk.
It's
like,
true.
What were the screenwriters?
And we're left knowing that she ends up staying with the guy who's a potential homicidal maniac, but nothing of it. That's very interesting analysis. I totally
I've
agree.
got the hair. I've got the teeth. I've got the eyes.
You've got the voice too, buddy.
Yeah. Now, I mean, give the guy a little credit. He's reaching for it. I mean, he's doing the crazy stuff. Everybody hated it. That's the funny thing. Kathleen Turner hated the voice. What I read later is that apparently Coppola hated the voice and the studio hated the voice. And somehow this guy who'd been in 6 movies or something and not really broken completely yet, convinced them all to let him stay with this crazy ass choice. That,
hey, what's the fun of being a teenager if you can't dress weird?
I mean, it either makes the movie for you or it destroys it. It's a really crazy thing. This character either is what you want to see and you want to see more of it, or you'd really wish he wasn't in it.
Yeah, I wished he wasn't in it.
But then what are you left with? You're left with a pretty soft, unspecified story about the 50s, kind of a love letter without much of any spice. It doesn't even have that kinetic spice that American Graffiti had, which I just, by comparison,
American Graffiti is a masterpiece next to this movie.
Now, that being said, hold on a second, because we are talking about Coppola and we are talking about a team of really, really intensely talented people here. Making something that is got a different flavor, and that I think they're trying to do something a little bit different. It just maybe didn't. I respect the attempt at this.
Do you think time travel is possible?
I wish it was, and I could go back and unwatch this movie.
You are a grumpy.
I think
you're just grumpy.
I'm
and
if
it doesn't please you, you're just dismiss it. And we have to focus on the movie and pare it down.
So you want me to accentuate the positive and decentuate
No, I
the
don't. I
negative?
don't. I just want you to be more specific about why you have this distasteful reaction, other than just I just want to. I just wanted to sleep.
Well, for the thing that you tapped on earlier, that it was 3 movies and it never decided which one it would be. And I'm only partially joking when I say why does this movie exist? It's like, what story were they telling? And after watching the whole movie, I have no idea what story they're telling other than she got hit on the head and either really went back in time and couldn't change anything, or she had a weird dream. They don't give us anything when she wakes up. They don't give us anything to let us know whether there's no Wizard of Oz moment after she wakes up.
Would you like your
There's
Twinkie now?
I
there's
would like a
no
Twinkie now. Thank
I
you.
would too. There's no indication that what she did in the past changed the trajectory of anything for they don't plant anything that the Barry Miller character got rich in real life because of something that she told him back then.
Well, it's got its own. It's got it. Yeah, I agree that part of it is not really it's non-existent, which leads me to feel like it's just not the point at all. That the point really is just about, at a certain, when you've made choices in your life, you can't run from them. Like it seemed to be that they were attempting to say something very kind of like not very happy news, but not really terrible news. Just like be okay with your choices. These are the choices you made, and I think despite that cartoonish thing with him trying to murder her in a room, which I felt like in Nick Cage's mind was almost like a cartoonish aside that doesn't connect to the movie. I don't even
Blah, blah,
Charlie?
blah, 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 blah. I want to suck your blood.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of that weirdness, but I think it's also like him talking about or expressing just like in extremes the kind of torment that that puberty is on people in love, that it just can make you crazy and feel like, killing yourself or murder, it's very a cartoonish example of that. And that's why I feel like it's multiple different movies. Like that choice, that scene could have made sense if it was like in a movie like Miracle at Morgan's Creek,
Yeah.
in a way. But you see what I'm saying? Like, it's just that it's too sentimental a movie for that kind of stuff to go on for me to get the sentiment that they're trying to get across.
Right. But if yeah, that's how I felt
What is
through
going
the whole
on?
movie. What is going on? But if we come back to her, that she's the central character and she's the character who takes a journey in the movie.
I give you our queen, Peggy Sue Caldermono.
Wow. I don't know what that journey was, and we didn't get enough at the end after she wakes up to see whether or not she learned that lesson that you said was maybe the point of the movie.
If you could do it all again, Grandpa, what would you do different?
I'd have taken better care of my teeth.
Yeah. I did love that scene in the lodge.
Well, I mean, that they were ripping on Preston Sturges.
Yeah.
Just like Grandma Strudel has kept this family together.
That's why I felt like, if it had been done like a Preston Sturges movie, Nick Cage's performance would have fit in there better. And the movie would have we wouldn't be thinking, what's the point? We would have just had 2 hours of craziness that would have been really a fun trip, through her past. Yeah, I don't think we would have been asking these questions if they had found a tone that made all these things work. But it seems like Coppola in one way wants to make a very touching kind of like open-ended exploration of middle-age sadness, and say that, you can't really, go home or back, but but accepting oneself and accepting that, you know, your life is actually okay despite not having gone this way or that way. I think a great movie could have been made out of that idea.
We were like two stars in the same constellation.
Then we
Yeah.
get stuff like that.
Yeah. What did you make? And this really bothered me. And what did you, the shot at the beginning and the shot at the end going through the mirror with the stand-ins for using stand-ins so that the shot could be accomplished. Do you know the shots I'm talking
Yeah.
about? What bothered me about that so much was that if you're watching carefully, and not even all that carefully, it's apparent that they're going through the mirror and okay, interesting shot, but in a movie where we're already wondering about the going through time and passing through a portal and going the and questioning the reality, and then using that shot and make at the end, I was thinking, wait, are they trying to say that other life is still going on somewhere and that there's two paths that are going on?
No, I don't think so. I don't no, I don't agree with that complaint. I don't. I felt differently about that. I thought I didn't I don't think I think that was like poetic storytelling. That was very like referential to, I know you hate the film references because
No,
you're like,
I
this
love
movie's got to
film.
work. Don't reference another movie.
No, I love film references. I adore film
Okay, so
references.
it's
But the
referencing like
movie itself still has to have its story that works.
I agree, but we're just talking about the shots at the opening and at the end, which you're attacking, and I'm saying I thought were lovely, and I bought them, and I thought they were great, and I thought they made sense within the thematic context of the movie in terms of traveling through dimensions or time, or I thought it was kind of interesting, and it was an elegant way to do it in a simple oneer that was really kind of cool. And at the time, it would have been less noticeably an effect than it would be now. I think people have perfected that kind of stunt more now than they may have then, but maybe not.
It made me angry. It made me angry.
Yeah, well, you don't like art in movies. That's the problem.
I never knew you had a sense of humor.
He leans into any artistic realm of choice, you start getting pissed off.
That's
it's categorically true. We could scan it. I'm not.
It's not true. I like it if it serves the story. If it's just I felt like it is never a good enough reason.
I don't think you're right about that. I think it does serve the story.
I thought it confused the story. I didn't think I didn't feel like it clarified it.
It's not okay. Well, that's what I'm saying. You don't like poetic flourishes of art in movies. You don't like that. You don't like thematic visual representations of story. You like the story. So when when somebody just does something because they like it, to them they're doing something thematically.
That's not true. If it's a thematic representation of the story they're telling, I love that. But if it seems unrelated, and to me it seemed completely unrelated, it raised it just seemed like an arbitrary choice to suddenly say, wait a minute, is she still stuck behind the mirror? Is that other life still going on? As opposed to purposefully saying, maybe there are different directions we could take.
Okay.
You took this seriously. You're a real blast from the past.
Do a recut. I think it's a little late. I think the DVDs have been pressed already. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, just not. It just bothered me all the way. I just felt like it just kept taking left turn on left turn on left turn and didn't ever settle down and and communicate a vision. And to your point that I don't like that I want everything to be nailed down, I would take the movie that Sophia and Alexis made as evidence that that's not true. The movie that Sophia and Alexis made leaves you with nothing but questions. But
you are a very hip chick.
yes, yes, I am. Left me with nothing but questions about that girl. Was she a fairy? Was she not a fairy? Was that woman her mother? What was
Which one's the mother?
And which one's the daughter?
But I didn't feel, but I felt like the filmmaker knew the answers to the questions and was giving me pieces of information for me to ponder and play with. And in this, I don't think they knew the answers to the questions. And curtain.
At least we won't both have a miserable time.
Tony's, for those of you who can't see it, Tony's hating me right now.
Oh no. No hatred at all.
Take it easy, kitten. Take it easy.
Weird because I disagree with you. I don't like the movie any more than you do, but I feel defensive of it because I'm disagreeing about the things that I liked about it. So I'm sure the things you like I didn't like in this movie, and the things that I like were probably completely separated, even though we hated it as much as the other person did. I find that interesting.
There wasn't really anything I liked about it.
Okay, well,
I mean,
a couple of lines of this, I could drill my own teeth.
There's a lot of artistry on display here. I think that it represents, an attempt by one of the great American filmmakers to play ball with Hollywood, and the fact that it didn't work is an interesting historical comment on his career. I think that there's some good work in it. I think it's
Thank you very much.
The beginning. I mean, this is like the beginning of him becoming Nicolas Cage in a way. I mean, this is before Raising Arizona. So I know, and I don't know. I love some of the cinematography. We've got, one of the great DPs. We got Jordan Cronenweth just doing gorgeous work, and I got to admit, I'm not a huge Kathleen Turner fan, but I got engaged enough
Get lost, you macho schmuck.
in her thing that I can't say that I hated this movie. I just didn't feel like it. I agree that it didn't know what to be or what it was or where to go or what it was saying completely, and it wasn't a full experience. But there were a lot of sequences I liked, and the stuff with Barry Miller I thought was really great. I liked that character, and I liked the fact that I'm not just trying to be curry favor here, but I like the fact that this was a female point of view that we were seeing it through, and I'd be really curious to talk to some women who liked the movie at the time to say maybe there's something about it that I'm not getting story wise, because I'd be willing to think I was missing something, but I thought it was risky to do it, to have this in 86, to have this, this movie that's completely driven by this woman's kind of epiphany. And
that's nice. I like the sound of that.
In being just a movie about a woman's epiphany, whether or not anything changes, that's a very acceptable thing to make a movie about. And I think Coppola could have made a great movie just about, nothing changes in this woman's life, but she reviews her life and has some kind of epiphany about it. I would love to see that movie. I just don't think they completely were able to do it. So I don't hate it.
Okay, see, now I'm just really pissed off because I let you talk and ramble on about all these intelligent things, all these intelligent things, and then I start saying, yeah, maybe he's got a point about something, and I could learn a little, maybe.
No, I don't mean
And
that.
I don't want to. I want to
You
leave me alone. I
completely
don't like it. Let me not like it.
We're getting divorced, actually.
Yeah,
I think that
that's
you
it.
are
Show's over.
100% right that this movie doesn't work. I just, maybe I'm too in love with directors, and I'm fascinated by the contribution that they're making, and I'm just interested in the mistakes or the misfires as much as I'm not. When there's somebody as talented as this at working on the movie, and a whole team this talented, I'm just that much more alert to go, well, they were thinking about something. This is a room full of some of the smartest, artists in production working together to make a movie. You got Dean Tavoularis, who is one of the great production designers, and it's just really smart people. So I'm wondering,
if talking about this director, what other things he directed?
He directed Pelican Brief.
Okay.
Wasn't
Anything
it the Pelican
else?
Brief? I think he directed Bugsy Malone and something else.
Yeah.
Remo Williams. I don't mean to come down hard on you, but I just felt like let's give it a little break.
Well,
You don't want to. That's fine.
No, well, and I had a busy week, and here I'll confess something to you. I woke up this morning at 5:30, after not going to bed until 12:30, after experimenting with cocktails with aguardiente and aquavit and lillet and gin and grappa and for a very long time last night, and several bottles of wine, and woke up at 4:30 and thought, oh God, I haven't finished the movie yet. I have to watch the rest of the movie. So, and I needed a certs this morning.
Not an ideal viewing situation, then, is what you're saying.
And everybody else in the house is asleep, and I don't know if I can get up and make coffee. So I take out my phone and watch the last 40 minutes of the movie on my phone in the bedroom, and I hated it.
Okay. Well, I could see,
and maybe maybe if we're doing a show critiquing movies and discussing them in a highfalutin manner, or maybe even just a falutin manner, I need to have better viewing habits.
No,
Can I tell Charlie Peggy Sue got drunk last night?
Young lady.
Yeah,
there you go.
All right. Well, thank you for your honesty, and
so
I appreciate that.
Maybe I need to sit down and
don't critique yourself. What we're gonna do is we're just never gonna cover films by great directors anymore. We're just not gonna do that.
Look, Francis Ford Coppola is never gonna hire me.
That's short-sighted. He also has many friends.
That's true. He does have many friends.
And there are people that are in this movie that could hire you.
Yeah. Well, and and I do have to say that as much as I didn't like this movie, he also has made movies that I think that I worship.
It's just not the ones with ladies in them having stuff to say. It's all the guys, the ones with the guys killing each other. That's not.
Yeah, and one of the movies that he made that I worship, there's actually a show on Paramount Plus right now about the making of that movie, a 10-episode series about the making of that movie that our brother directed 4 of the 10 episodes.
That's true. That's true. You've caught me. I haven't seen it yet, so I haven't
seen it yet either.
I have to get on that.
I'm a cheap bastard. I'm waiting until
Right.
all 10 I'm waiting till all 10 episodes have dropped, and then I'm going to sign up for Paramount, the 7-day free trial of Paramount Plus.
Right. It's good to announce that. That's your plan.
Well, it's not breaking any law. They give you a free trial.
It's just everybody has a bit of a civic responsibility, though, which you're clearly happy to. No, we all do it.
Paramount
Plus. Paramount Plus.
I do my civic responsibility to Amazon Prime, to Acorn, to BritBox,
okay,
to Hulu, and to Spotify.
No, why I love you like I do. No, why I do.
Okay, so what you're saying here's my viewing experience. I had dinner, had watched a cartoon, before the movie, like you do,
Marvin the Martian, or
had a seltzer, and then turned on the 50-inch OLED and just was like, let's go for beauty, cinematography, film, and the stuff that works because it evokes that you're just kind of in this world. You can't get any of that vibe the way you saw the movie. So none of the stuff that really does work about it would you have really been able to appreciate that much on a cell phone, literally.
Well, hold on a second. So you're suggesting that if I approach the viewing experience like I'm going to sit down and watch this movie and open my heart and mind to it and see what kind of experience I have, I might have a different experience than if I approach it like, oh, Jesus Christ, I've got so many goddamn things to do, and now I have to watch this freaking movie.
Check this goddamn thing off the list.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Maybe I'll have a different kind of experience.
Possibly. But I mean, irregardless of your mood, the delivery mechanism was not,
I have a nice phone. I have a Pixel 3. It's a very nice phone.
You'd get out of
your damn computers put me out of business.
All you get out of that experience would just be the plot. And that was the thing you didn't like. So that's what you're going to just sit there and see. You're not going to see any of the kind of beautiful, crafted work that's going on up there, really.
Well, no, my phone has a nice screen. I held it very close to my face.
Okay.
Still doesn't work.
Boris, why aren't you giving blood, a cannon, to anemic? Oh, maybe you should drink some of that nail polish. Might give you some strength. Why don't you come back and show me how?
Okay, actually, mistake on my part. I loved Ms. Persky in this movie.
I demand a recount.
I love Lisa Jane Persky.
Was she the mean girl?
The mean friend.
She was great. Actually,
I loved Joan Allen. I loved Lisa Jane Persky. I loved her group of friends. I thought there were terrific performances in it from many people.
Me
Silence
too.
Again.
I did too.
I'm in so much trouble.
I did too.
Well, ladies and gentlemen, after the show tonight, Tony's gonna tell me I have to shape up and get my life together.
I thought there was good work. There was. Barbara Harris it was interesting to see her.
Yeah,
she didn't do a lot of films.
No.
Barbara Harris was great. She had the funniest line in the movie to me. I'm sure we have that clip.
Oh, yes. That's the line that I have, the piece of dialogue that I have written down.
Darling, do you know what a penis is? Stay away from it.
Yeah.
You sound like a maniac!
I think Elia didn't put the penis clip in there because he thought it would be.
You look great for a corpse.
Thought it would be R-rated. So Elia stayed away from the penis clip.
Okay. Regrouping that.
Why I oughta.
He's
now our producer is mad at me.
So well, what is there to say about a situation like this? There really isn't. What do you
Should
you
we go?
you don't have to like it. I didn't really love it, but I didn't have to do like it at all.
But you're
But
not. Yeah.
you know, did you not like the stuff about the giant portable radios and the stuff with?
Yeah, it was.
Okay.
There was a little bit witty. Then she goes home and she makes the pantyhose and throws them under her bed, and that never went anywhere.
Okay. Yes.
Very happy, Peggy.
It's not about anything going anywhere. I think very much what the movie is saying isn't something that is very, comfortable. It's not a happy thing, and we're looking for like something fun and feel good, and it doesn't give us that. And I think that I just want to make sure that's not where I'm saying I don't like the movie. I want to think about that. I just want to make
Right.
sure that I'm not going, well, I didn't get it or like it because I didn't align with what they were trying to say, because I think what they were trying to say was subtler than the kind of movie it looks like. And I don't think they achieved saying what they had set out to say in a way, but I honor what they were trying to say.
Okay. But what do you think they were trying to say?
What I've said, which I think is they were trying to say that your life is your life. It's called Peggy Sue Got Married. You can't, it's
Right.
not going to trivialize your life by saying you can go back and change it.
Right.
It's a time
Okay.
travel movie for adults. It's saying, wouldn't it be nice to go back in time? And you can do that in a dream, but it's still going to be your life. So
You
quit.
see, I think that time is like a burrito, in the sense that one part of itself will fold over, and then it will just touch the other part.
So, maybe it's a movie about a woman who feels like she hasn't really amounted to anything, but then meets a kid at the reunion who she touched somehow, who changed his life without really even knowing she had done it.
You fall into the hands of some madman with plans to manipulate your brain.
Well, that's why I was getting a divorce.
I feel like there's a lot of things that this movie could be about, and that if it didn't have this kind of DNA of a Hollywood movie in it somehow, that if it had been more, if Coppola had done more like less Hollywood vibe on this and more of a Godfather approach, if it had been, longer, I wanted to spend more time here. Like if my feeling was, it was propelled and edited kind of like a movie where there's going to be a payoff and a point.
Right.
If it had been another half hour long of just experiencing this experience with her, in a way, I think it would have been more in keeping with the kind of movie it was, which was more of just like hanging out in the 50s, reminiscing about your life. And maybe we just didn't come from that period,
But if the movie had been another half hour long, I wouldn't have been able to finish it because they started making breakfast downstairs and I had to.
Well, that part of the movie is hard for everybody.
But really I hear what you're saying. And the movie that you're describing as what you wish this movie had been, I'd like to see that movie.
Me too. Me too. And the part that they got right, I feel like, was that movie. And the part that they got wrong just went way off from the movie that
Who needs physics when we've got chemistry?
They had to make a call about what universe we're in, because I don't feel like you can have, even notwithstanding that he tries to kill her, you can't have these two characters inhabiting the same profound universe. This guy isn't profound enough to make a movie around. So
no. And one thing was interesting was that last Friday night I saw a production of Our Town at South Coast Repertory. And driving there, I'm of course thinking to myself, oh great, I have to see yet another production of Our Town. And I sat there with joy in my heart and a smile on my face, and then sobbing at the end at this incredibly wonderful production, which interestingly enough maybe kind of says that play kind of says what you're talking about maybe this movie was trying to say.
Passion. Fire.
Exactly. I couldn't put it any better.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No, but that your life is your life.
Yeah.
And you live it, and you don't get to change shit. And maybe you better just really pay attention to it.
Right.
And watch it. Engage in the movie of your life the way you're saying you should engage in the movie.
Right.
And not the way I engaged with this movie, which is drunk and trying to get it over, hungover and trying to get it over with.
Right. And also like a cool idea that we kind of mythologize our choices in the past as these mythological events that happen to us.
Right.
But they're the same thing you're doing now with your life. You're making choices in your life. You're not aware that one choice or other is particularly interesting or great. But if you have the viewpoint that 20 years from now, you might think back on this day and these choices you're making and go, you really could have done better.
Well, that's not true.
Oh, I'm so sorry. These pens are so tricky.
You did that on purpose! I hate you!
She was great in that.
She was great. But no, I completely disagree with that. I am completely master of my fate and in control of everything that's going on and what happens to me.
Peggy Sue got married. Case closed.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, you're the one, living the dream and flying around to places and hanging out at fire pits and drinking with fancy people. So I guess you're right.
Yeah, our fancy producers. Yeah.
We were also made aware that not only do we have a fake voice going on with Mr. Cage, but he wore fake teeth as well.
Yes.
Movie did better than I thought. Grossed more money than it cost, which is nice. There was also a lawsuit. Kathleen Turner got sued by Nick Cage. The reason I'm wearing this hat tonight is because she accused him of stealing a Chihuahua, and he sued her and said that was defamation of character.
Yeah.
And the truth may never be known, but that's what happened.
Well,
she lost.
He won the suit. Yeah. Excuse me.
Reclaim thy child of light.
Did you recast the movie, or did you care at that point? You'd lost the will to live.
Yeah, that's true. But I await with curiosity the wonderful decisions you made around all of the things that I'm supposed to do.
Okay, well,
Well, the girl's gone. Let's play cards.
Clearly, we're the Lodge brothers. We're in the lodge. That's our parts.
Yeah.
We need to go no further. Ilya understood that as well. So for this, I want to recast it Australian for some reason. I want to go fully Australian because I think that the Australians would have understood exactly all of this movie and been able to make a version of it that we all liked.
Right.
I'm thinking maybe Naomi Watts as Peggy Sue.
Excellent.
I'm thinking the Hemsworth brothers, all of them in the movie. Liam, Chris, and Rogerio. I don't remember his name, but with the three of them, muscle-bound dudes, as the three guys in the movie.
Mercutio, I think it's
yes.
or Valerio. Yeah.
As the Nick Cage character, and they can fight over which one plays which, the beatnik and the nerdy science kid. Then we got Jeffrey Rush as her grandfather, as her grandfather. Jackie Weaver as her grandmother.
Okay.
Toni Collette as her mother.
Yes.
And Rebel Wilson can be her sister. I just feel like this is an Australian movie to me. This is the kind of would know how to make this the right combination of absurdity and pathos and ridiculousness and nostalgia and poking fun at itself.
Yeah.
If anything, this movie might be a little over serious. It might be too too serious for its own good. Maybe a little lighter.
Yeah. Okay. I'll go with all of that.
I mean, what's Diner about?
You took this seriously. You're a real blast from the past.
You know, Diner's not about anything.
Right.
But it's great. You're just like, oh, wow, okay, we're back in time and we're hanging out. Maybe it's just a little, maybe it's too serious. Maybe they're trying to be a little too deep dish. Maybe that's what we didn't like.
Okay. Yeah. All right. That's good. I think that's a good wrap up.
Or is that a quiet way of telling me to just table it, zip it,
Sure.
button it, zip it up, fuzzball?
It's a quiet way.
Men like houses and trade upward.
I didn't do my job this week, and I'm feeling ashamed.
Well, if your job is watching the film, then I guess not.
I did. You know, this could turn into. I could turn into a lot of those things of like on the Colbert Show where he's interviewing the author, but you clearly haven't read the book. You've read the crib notes so that you can interview the author.
Yeah.
I could do the show that way.
You just say like a lot of people. That was you last night.
That was me last night,
Yeah.
passing out like that. Yeah, very much so.
I will say in closing, we've done a
Yeah.
lot. You know, we've done some dissing, some praise. I actually did really like the fact that this was a time travel movie that was just like, stop it. We're not doing time travel stuff. She has a dream and we go back in time. There's there's no plot involving how it works or why. It was a fantasy movie and I accepted it at that and was really appreciative that we didn't have to sit through yet another treatise on how this philosophy of time travel worked. I really liked that about it.
But I did want Bert Lahr and I wanted them all to come in at the end.
They were
and
offered
say,
roles. They said no.
And you were there, and you were there.
Mm-hmm.
I wanted all of that at the end, and
they thought that that would have been a little overkill.
Oh, okay. Next week we have something really exciting.
No show at all.
No, we have a show next week.
Oh, we do? Okay, I thought you were leaving. I thought you were like, the exciting news is no more
Poker night.
Yeah, it's poker night. No, next week. Actually, I'll be broadcasting from our brother's next week because I'm house sitting for him and babysitting our nephew who's 18 feet taller than I am. Not actually.
No baby whatsoever.
No babysitting. No babysitting. But I'm going to be house sitting
roomies
with my nephew next week. So I'll be broadcasting from Adam's house. But we're going to cover the wonderful Time After Time, directed by Nicholas Meyer, written and directed by Nicholas Meyer.
Yes.
And wait, was it directed by? Did he direct it? He wrote it. He wrote the book. He directed it as well. Starring Malcolm McDowell, Mary Steenburgen, and David Warner. And I have seen that movie, and I love this movie.
Are you going to sleep through it this time when you see it again?
I'm going to watch it with glee and sober and awake.
I love that. I can't wait. That's going to be incredibly cool and exciting.
And Mr. Meyer will be joining us to talk about the movie.
I really can't quite believe it's happening, but nevertheless it seems to be. So
and then after that we're taking a break for a little while because my June becomes completely crazy with graduations and recitals and things like that and a lot of travel.
Why I oughta.
So let's be a little more specific. Taking a break for a little while. We'll be taking a little summer hiatus.
A little summer hiatus.
Between seasons. We're finishing a season, right?
Yes.
We're going to take a little hiatus while you do some work. We're going to regroup. We're going to plot the next season. Right? And figure some stuff out for what we'll do next season. And, Camille says, mind your health.
Yes. He says he wants me around.
Was that a threat? I don't understand.
No, he said no. The rest of it said we want you around for a long time.
Oh, okay. Yes, I agree.
Yes. Yeah. Thank you, Camille. I'm going to try and stick around for a very, very, very long time. In fact, you know, I'll go so far as to say I'm going to try to overstay my welcome.
Keep drinking that water. I like to see that.
Okay. So join us next week for Time After Time and Nicholas Meyer.
Truly
that
weirdest. That was the weirdest damn
the
thing.
weirdest, the pillow sequence. Unbelievable. All right. Good night, everybody.
A book.